In C# programming, one of the most powerful concepts is the ability to organize code into reusable blocks known as methods. Methods allow you to encapsulate functionality, making your code more modular and easier to manage. This lesson will introduce you to methods, explain their structure and usage, and provide concrete examples to solidify your understanding. Don't worry if this feels new at first. This section covers what's a method. A method is a block of code that performs a specific task. You can think of methods as mini-programs within your larger program. They help to break down complex problems into smaller, manageable pieces. Each method can take inputs, process those inputs, and return an output. Defining a method, let's dig in. To define a method in C#, you need to specify its access modifier, return type, name, and any parameters it accepts. Here's the basic syntax. I'll let you read the examples on screen rather than reading every line aloud. Let's look at an example. See the example on this slide. Pause if you want to study the details. In this example, first, public. This is the access modifier, which determines the visibility of the method. Also, int. This is the return type, indicating that this method will return an integer value. Also, add. This is the name of the method, which should be descriptive of its functionality. Finally, int a, int b. These are parameters that the method takes as input. Now we're on calling a method. Once a method is defined, you can call it from anywhere in your code, provided it's within scope. To call a method, you simply use its name followed by parentheses, including any necessary arguments. For instance, the samples on screen walk through this step. Take a moment to read through them. In this example, we call the add method with arguments 5 and 10 and store the result in the variable result. Now, benefits of using methods. Using methods offers several advantages. First, reusability. Once a method is written, it can be reused multiple times without rewriting the code. Also, readability. Methods can make your code more readable by providing descriptive names for blocks of code. Finally, maintainability. If you need to make changes, you only need to update the code in one place. Let's move on to working example. Calculating the area of a rectangle. Let's create a complete example that uses methods to calculate the area of a rectangle. We will define a method that takes the length and width as parameters and returns the area. This slide introduces a class definition. Study the structure in the code sample. In this example, first, the calculateArea method takes two parameters, length and width. Also, it returns the product of these two parameters, which is the area of the rectangle. Finally, in the main method, we call calculateArea with specific values and print the result to the console. In this lesson, you learned about methods in C#, including how to define and call them. Methods are essential for organizing your code into reusable blocks, enhancing readability, and simplifying maintenance. Understanding how methods work is crucial for writing effective C# applications. Alright, your turn. Give this a try. First, define a method called multiply that takes two integers as parameters and returns their product. Also, write a method named isEven that takes an integer and returns true if it's even and false otherwise. Finally, create a program that calls both methods and prints the results for different integer inputs.